Hello, welcome to the Three Idiots podcast. The other two idiots have decided to not show up on time. Typical. Well, actually, it's not typical, it's basic, but hey ho. So yeah, as you may or may not have seen in the title, we are going to be, well, it looks like I'm going to be reviewing the last week's games alone. Screw you, Lizzo. You're supposed to be the only other one who actually knows anything about OWL. Right. So this was the final week of the regular season. We had 12 games that we're going to go over. And we're going to start with Vancouver and Boston.
Vancouver and Boston?
Holy crap, Lizzo. The first... That actually gave me a heart attack there. Okay, that was figurative. Okay, Vancouver and Boston. Started out on Nepal. Who do you think won? Then went to Gibraltar. Who do you think won? Then Eichenfelder. Who do you think won? That's my rundown of that game. Anything else to add, Richard?
3-0 Vancouver, maybe?
Oh yeah, we should clarify that Vancouver won and Boston didn't, because Boston are bad.
I mean, Shockwave's kind of good, so...
I mean, yeah, I said Boston are bad, not Vancouver. I'll let you run down your favourite team's defeat to Florida.
My favorite teams for what?
Okay, you review Florida versus Gladiators.
Oh. I mean... I predicted this to be a 3-2. It ended up as a 3-1 to the Mayhem. Kinda sad. I'd say that Lijiang Tower was pretty close. 2-1 to Florida.
And
But...
Vancouver was close as well.
I mean, Havana was still also pretty close.
No, it wasn't. If you watched it.
I mean, Gladiators full held Mayhem. First point.
Wait, was it not,
Havana.
Yeah, did Florida not full hold Gladiators and then just completely roll it straight through? I don't know, I missed this
I'm
one.
not sure it's... I'm not sure, but Florida
me
on
just
that.
quickly
But
check.
Gladiators won Kings Row 2-1.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
watch Havana on my phone. How do I watch it? Okay. I'm just, hell.
I think the outcome of the match would have been different if Gladiators would have won first map.
Yes.
I think they needed some confidence going in the beginning, but then when they just didn't win first map, they kind of gave up or started being
Yeah, so I've just checked.
feeling
Florida
out and
full
stuff.
held Gladiators before just rolling through. Alright, okay. Next game it was Hangzhou versus Seoul. Seoul just lost their touch there. Honestly. Seoul kind of crumbled that last week. It was kind of sad to watch. Going from 3-0ing London twice and New York once to losing 3-0 to the Spark. That's like such a fall off. However, the game I want to talk about here, because it was actually really close, is London versus New York. London lost, I know, wow, what a shocker, I'm too biased, I predicted London to win, yada yada.
Yeah, you are.
It ended up being closer. Like, it might not seem so in terms of map score and the score in the individual maps, but London were forcing New York into unfavourable positions. Like, and literally forced them to play from the gutter and come back out and win.
I mean, Lijiang was still 2-0 for
yeah,
New
but,
York.
Like, both of the rounds were like 99 to 99 or something.
And Route 66 was
It was a full
1-0.
hold by New York.
And then Vancouver was, and then Volskaya, I mean, was
2-1.
2-0 to New York. No, 2-0.
It was 2-1.
Volskaya. 2-0. I'm in the Overwatch League.
And I'm on Wikipedia, which
That's
I trust
2-0.
Wikipedia more than I trust the Overwatch League website. Wikipedia is a dumb site. Why am I
And
using Wikipedia? Numbani though, London played excellently on. I can't really point out one flaw in London's play on Numbani. Apart from that first dive on attack.
J-Mac.
Yeah, it was J-Mac. J-Mac went in alone. Cleston was peeling for his support at the time. It didn't end well, because Cleston tried to get up by that point. J-Mac was pretty much dead. J-Mac died. Cleston got D-Mech. It was a mess. Might not have said these things in order, but they happened in about 5 seconds. Do you want to take Washington, please?
Washington versus San Francisco. Yeah, sure.
I think it'll be an interesting game.
3-0 to San Francisco. I mean, it was. It was. I think, like, Ons versus Decay, that was very entertaining to watch.
I think Washington's.
I don't really think that the DPS. I feel like Decay is still Decay. Decay can match up to Ons if Washington gives Decay all of the
I
abilities.
mean, like, Dallas made
Good.
the K matchup to Arms. If
Yeah,
Dallas
like,
provide that
I mean-
the resources for Decay to succeed, so can Washington, let's be honest. Dallas are one of the worst orgs to be on historically in Overwatch League. Maybe only slightly better than Boston. Actually,
Yeah.
no, much better than Boston. But Boston's like, why on earth would you ever choose to be on Boston? I'd rather play for an unsigned open division team than Boston.
Are you
Yes.
sure? I think Boston would be quite good if they reorganize their entire base and switch the owners.
No,
I think they could
it's not
be
the owner
bigger.
they need to switch, it's the general manager.
Nah, it's also the owner.
Robert Kraft is fine. It's Hook they need to get rid of. Well, we're off topic now. Okay, Dallas versus Toronto. I think we both predicted the reverse result of what happened. We both predicted Toronto to win 3-1. But Dallas gone to a note looking like they're back in 2018. Especially note, it was Doha played excellently as always. Only God is really filling in the shoes of Decay. And what else is there to say? I mean, the sports exist. Okay, you do Gladiators versus Atlanta now.
Gladiator versus Outlaws.
No, Atlanta.
What did we predict last time?
Both,
Atlanta? Gladiator
I
versus
think we
Atlanta?
both predicted Gladiators to win 3-2.
I'm pretty sure I predicted it 3-0 or
Oh,
3-1.
yeah, you did.
Because that was last time's score. I'm pretty fucking sure. But I mean, what can I say? It's the Gladiators. You can't be disappointed, really. I mean, it goes down 3-1 to Gladiators. I mean, it was a really entertaining game to watch. After Nepal, it was pretty fun to watch. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, Gladiators barely won Havana 4-3, and then on Kings Row, Atlanta wins 3-2. But then on Hanamura, Gladiators with their dominance takes it 1-0 on Hanamura.
Yep.
There's not much to say about this game. I mean, Kevster and Birdring. I mean, Birdring is looking so good.
It's looking like it's the 2018
So good.
playoffs. Like,
Yeah.
so many,
Honestly, he's almost at that
so many
point.
2018, some of 2018's best players have been looking. almost as good as they were in that peak of 2018. Apart from
Yeah.
Carter, who's exceeded it by far. I think
He's definitely the top. Definitely.
Carpe probably won't retire for another year. He's got such a good team around him. He's still playing so well. Okay. Valent versus Vancouver. Looking at the overall score, it's a bit deceiving. I should probably use Overwatch League after that London. Okay. Yeah, the overall score could be a bit deceiving because it was a 3-0 in favour of the Valiant. But Vancouver made each map close. This game reminds me of the first London versus Shanghai this season, where London made every map close, but Shanghai won 3-0. Yeah, KSP has aimbot. XP.
Dude, KSP.
KSP is the best British player.
So good. Yeah, I actually agree.
Well,
Like he's top.
It's between him and Funiasco.
Nah, I'd say KSP.
Yeah, I lean towards KSP as well, but Funiasco is also excellent. Right. Seoul versus London. We both predicted this perfectly. Like, this has got to be one of our best week of Preds ever. Like, so we've done 3 weeks of Preds. No, 2. Wait, is it 2? No, yeah, we've done 2 weeks of Preds before. And I think this week of Preds has been our best ever. We made these 2 weeks ago, yeah, I can remember. Yeah, okay. So, London, they'll look recovered. They'll look like they might have enough momentum to beat Chengdu in the playoffs, the APAC playoffs. I think really it's going to be dependent on how well they do in preparation for that, because if they do well in preparation, they gain confidence, then they'll be set. They'll have a chance of making top 2 APAC if they gain confidence in preparation for playoffs. You take Paris and Dallas because I feel like you're better suited to take that game.
Paris and Dallas? Paris and Dallas. It's a 3-1 to Paris. I mean, mad props to Dallas for actually at least taking one map of the Eternal. I mean, this was a pretty close game. Overall, this was pretty close. But I'd say that the difference between both of the teams in this, it was probably between just the DPS and the tank difference, I'd say.
I think Dallas have really strong tanks and DPS. I think it's the supports that made the difference here. Fielder is so good, and Lefty Body's been playing so well recently. And then on Dallas' side, who's playing main support for them now? Is it Paintbrush or Closure? And then they've got, is it Unko still playing flex support? Because Unko still playing flex support for Dallas?
No, it's Crimson and
Paintbrush. They're not the best that Dallas can do. We've got so many options. We can look at EU contenders. And if we look at EU contenders, specifically Hurricane Obey Alliance, that's 6 very good, talented supports, 3 in each role, who've played for the top 2 European teams over the past 3 months, and a role of age, if I remember correctly. Dallas have those 6 to look at ideally, or look at Korean contenders, because the best NA contenders supports, apart from Aspen and someone else, I think they're all underage. And then San Francisco versus Atlanta. This was interesting. San Francisco had already locked in the second NA seed. Like, they physically couldn't get up to the number 1 NA because Philly 3-0'd them somehow. But Atlanta, they looked very strong, and they not only took San Francisco to 5 marks, but genuinely looked like they were going to take the third map. Well, not the third map, the first, fourth, and fifth map. While watching this game, I never felt like San Francisco were ever in control. Like, that's rare. Like, I don't know if that's just me. It could be me being Capega. But, yeah. I'm gonna quickly remove basic office reasons because I'm not sure. So then finally, the last match of the week and the last match of the regular season was a battle for LA.
I mean, my prediction was right.
You, Richard. I wanted
You said
Valiant to win because I'm
3-2 to Valiant. I'm telling you,
yeah I slept
3
on third round.
to Gladiators. You look back at the other times these two have played in all of the seasons so far. Valiant has won, I believe, 4 times. And Gladiators, before this match, had won 4 times. So this was the tiebreaker. And my boys, Gladiators, get out. And they have one more win in the Battle of LA.
I think Valiant won 1 in season 2, so Valiant have won 5, I think.
I watched this match, okay? Don't try anything.
I think
okay?
Valiant have won 5 all time against Gladiators.
I'm not gonna say that Gladiators were lucky, but KSP was not playing at his top. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if it was because Berging was putting too much pressure on him, but he was not getting as much value as he did. He was not showing his KSP aimbot side during this game, actually. But I think that the tank difference was probably the biggest, and also the support consistency, I'd say. Just because Gladiators has our upper hand with at least Chas being somewhat consistent and Big Goose being able to pop off sometimes. And they also have that really confident off-tank position with Space being there that Valiant really can't
Space
match.
is the best NA off-tank.
Yeah, far. And Valiant can't match that. There's just no way.
I'm currently looking so far I know 4 times that Valiant has defeated the Gladiators, and that I'm on season 2 now.
Yep, the Gladiators 5 times. Yeah.
So played twice in season 2. In this stage they played. Is it in stage 3 or stage 4 they played for the second time last season?
I actually have a thing here. I'm actually gonna post this.
I'm gonna post it in the Discord.
Getting with you. It was equal.
Okay.
With 4 wins Valiant, 4 wins Gladiators, and then Gladiators win it this time. 5 times has Gladiator beaten Valiant.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So
MVP, tank, deep support DPS, and rookie. Just rookie or rookie for every role. Okay, I don't remember every even MVP contestant though, and they took away that thing. Oh, okay. Oh my god, this is so hard. MVP. MVP. I think my MVP of the year would be between Alarm, Alarm, Carpe, and Fleta, I'd say. Because Alarm has been consistent for the entire season so far on his flex support. He's been looking so good for just being a rookie. So good. But then you think about Carpe. Carpe has had the potential to win fives, win to clutch 5v6s for the Philadelphia Fusion. With his just overall consistency in all these seasons. And you would think that he really deserves it. But you also have somebody like Flata, who has been looking so good, so good on that DPS position for the Shanghai Dragons. Such a dominant team, and would it really not be the same without Fleta? If I could pick three, I would probably pick them because I think they're overall the best ones.
Yeah, fair enough.
You could argue for Void instead of Fleta, yes, but I think Fleta is just he's a DPS.
Yeah.
He gets
And
noticed more.
I'm gonna have a complete and utter hot take here. Alarm is only a top 5 flex support. I think Shu, Kareev, who else? I've forgotten who else. Shu, Kareev are definitely better. Uh, who else did I? Who else was? Overall, oh no, overall, yeah. So flex support is 5th. Shu, Kareev, Violet, and Twilight are all better than Alarm in my opinion. Like,
I mean, I wouldn't say all those are MVP, but
I mean, maybe argue Violet for MVP.
maybe it's just because I don't like the San Francisco
Yeah.
Shock,
The,
because I can't really vote for them in anything. So
yeah. So your MVP you decided on is who?
Alarm,
Yeah, my overall MVP is Flare.
I think.
And
Yeah, 'cause that's understandable.
um,
Actually, I changed it to Carpe.
you think? Okay, yeah, I can get behind that.
And then what is
So
every role,
we'll
right?
do overall
Rookie or
now.
okay, rookie. We're rookies.
Um,
Alarm is a rookie.
oh,
XC is a
yes,
rookie.
actually is a rookie.
Ooh, KSP is a rookie.
Funny Astro is not a rookie because he played one map last year. Which I find absolutely hilarious.
I would say it's between Alarm, KSP, Alarm, KSP, and
Doha is a rookie.
I wouldn't say Doha is that good.
Is he a rookie? Let me just double check. I think Doha is a rookie.
I want to say KSP.
Wow. So KSP is my DPS of the year.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be the same for me. Like he's been able to, like his aim is,
Allowed, I told you
I
this.
don't know.
You're not allowed.
If he
You're not allowed to
like,
have your MVP
I,
or rookie as your best for any individual role.
am
No.
I not?
So my
Oh
my
my
rookie
fuck.
is XE. I don't think rookies should be allowed to qualify for the MVP running in Overwatch League, just because I don't think it's fair on the players that maybe have been unlucky and gotten on a slightly worse team would have performed just as well, if not better. You're only like a couple of spots below them. I don't think it's fair to have rookies on the MVP race.
Yeah, that's I'll still pick KSP though, because I could see KSP being on. I could see him be on like top honestly, any top 5 team in any of the
I mean, he's
regions.
on a top 5 team, I know.
Yeah, but one that's better
So you want him on a top
than
4 team?
Valiant.
I know.
Valiant's shining bright is really only their DPS.
No, Dreamer as well. Dreamer's amazing.
Dreamer is not that good.
I love Dreamer. Dreamer's such a good player.
Dreamer is not that good. I could see KSP being on San Francisco Shock. I could see him be on Guangzhou Charge if it was English speaking, or if he would be able to be there. Like I could see KSP being there.
Definitely.
I don't know, he just has such an aimbot. I don't understand. I don't know. He just has the ability to swings fight for the Atlanta Reign in such a carry position. Okay, my tank DPS and support. Let's see, I need a notebook because I need to write and X them out. Okay, let's see. Um, so we have for tank MVP of the year overall. Let's see. We have Void from the Shanghai Dragons. Really good off tank. Really good off tank. Solid. So fucking good off tank. Then we have Krong from the Guangzhou Charge. I would say easily, not easily, but I would say he's the best Sigma in the league and in professional Overwatch, I'd say. And he looks so good for the Guangzhou Charge during double shield. So good on that Sigma. His accuracy is insane on Sigma. And then we have Choi Yobin. I mean, Choi Yobin has always been really consistent for San Francisco. Shock. Such a good off tank. He is almost as shining as bright as last year, I'd say. But and then you have Fearless from also the Shanghai Dragons, looking so good on that Winston and on that Reinhardt. So good.
Ricky's also pretty solid.
So good. Yeah, but I'm looking at the flashy things.
Flashiness isn't everything.
From the Shanghai, and the San, and the one.
Okay.
So we have Void, Krong, Choi Yobin, Fearless.
Okay,
I wanna say Space. Yeah. I wanna say Space, but then I think he is not gonna make as much as he's not been able to shine as bright because his main tank has not been that strong.
I mean, when he's played with LH Cloudy, he's looked exceptional.
I mean, yeah, but LH Cloudy is LH Cloudy. You can't play LH Cloudy on everything.
Paris did and got okay results.
I mean, yeah, sure, but you would like consistent results as well. Let's see. I'm gonna put Space in just as a name, just because Space is Space. Best off tank any of the LA Gladiators. Is there any more?
Bernard, he's really good.
Hanbin?
Hanbin is excellent.
Hanbin, Parrot.
Bernard from London.
I don't like London, but sure.
Paris.
Nah, I wouldn't say not. Actually, yeah, oh yeah,
Note
sure.
Very good as of late. Like,
Yeah, as of late, but I'm
Yeah, you're
thinking.
thinking the entire season, which is why I said Bernard. Because
Yeah.
although he's had a dry couple of weeks, for the most part, he's been excellent.
Mm,
Let me think.
Ben Best. Smurf. Smurf has been looking really good on all main tank characters, I'd say. I mean, Smurf is just like Choyobin. Like, it's just consistency, pop-up potential. It's just so good. It's so good. It's just like uh, it's just like Choyobin. So Smurf is definitely somebody you want to mix up in there.
Yeah, I definitely.
Dreamer. I wouldn't say Super because Super has not played a
Super's
lot
a
of
DPS
Reinhardt.
player now. I've got to admit, he's probably going to be my DPS of the year, just for his Genji stats alone. But
Yeah, no.
Johnny's not been bad actually.
Mano, I would not say.
Mana is
I would
consistently
say
good.
no. If I would have seen Elsa more, I would say Elsa, because Elsa just makes a
You
difference
mean
in
like
New York's
not
playstyle.
Elsa? You mean Bianca? Elsa plays for Chengdu
Bianca, yeah.
and is the underwhelming off tank. Late Young plays for Chengdu and is the excellent off tank who they refuse to play.
Oh yeah, Late Young, definitely Late Young.
Um,
Amon.
how can you not have him on?
Uh, I mean, he's still a very good
Yeah,
player,
Amon's
but I just mean
excellent.
specific.
Um, yeah, so for me, I've already decided all my rules prior to doing this. My tank is Fearless.
What? Fearless?
Yes, because he's been okay. So Fearless, he came into season 1 onto the Dragons. I mean, how can anyone do anything with that? Season 2, I think he suffered an injury, so after a 2 month break, he went down to Contenders to re-hone his skills for Team CC. And season 3, he came back and has been looking sharper than ever. He is by far the best Winston in the world, easily a top 3 Reinhardt, and a top 5
Uh,
Orisa. We will not talk about his ball play.
for me, it's between Void, Krong, and Hanben. Because now looking back, Paris would never have been the same without Hanben.
I mean, they didn't have him for like 2 or 3 weeks at the start of the season and played most of my Ben best and they still looked pretty damn good with them.
Yeah, but I think. mm,
Paris were easily the best double main tank team.
The longest meta in the Overwatch League was double shield this season.
Yeah. Mm.
I'm actually gonna give it to Krong.
Yeah, fair enough. Mm. Have you
Yeah,
done DPS or support yet, or did you start on tank?
I have not done damage or
Okay.
support,
Do you want to do DPS now?
but I already know. Yeah, I already know what I picked.
DPS
So.
Glister.
I mean, to me it's clear. It's probably Xe.
Yeah, well, I couldn't pick Epsy because he's my rookie of the year.
I pick
I
Xe
picked
at least.
Glister. Glister has
Glister?
dragged London through fights. He has won. If I
You're
watched
so
through,
biased. You're
I've watched
so
through
biased.
10 of London's games recently. I counted 7 games. He got more than five or more of the final blows in.
You're so biased.
He gets on average
You are so
3.3
biased.
final blows per fight
Oh, so
across
biased.
those 10 games. For reference, 2 is a good number for a DPS player.
Okay, sure. I pick Xe.
And also Glister dragged London through Okay, I don't know if you watched this game, but London versus New York in the Summer Showdown qualifiers. London lost 3-1. The map they won was Rialto. London were down, I think it was either 3 or 4 on their point A defence. New York were about to cross over. Gusta swapped onto Tracer. Not only did he get five final blows and 2 more elimination participations, he built up a pulse bomb in that fight. That's a reference for how good he is.
I mean, I've never been a big fan of those. I'm gonna still say XC. He makes McCree look easy.
Okay. Support. Fielder. Think. Fielder has.
You're saying
I don't
Fielder.
think he's a top 5 support, but I think he's been the support with the most impact on his team.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for here. Impact on team.
I agree. Was it in the main melee that it was Philadelphia versus Paris?
No, it was the Summer Showdown.
San Francisco versus
Summer
Paris.
Showdown.
Was it then when Paris
Yes.
Eternal won? He played in Asia with 200 ping and still played phenomenal. Excellent placement, excellent positioning, excellent everything. Fielder is such a
The only thing I'm concerned about for Fielder going into the postseason is if he can readjust to LAN environments, because he's been playing on 200 pings for so long.
I think he's just gonna look better.
I think he's gonna look worse for one fight, and then he's gonna get back into the rhythm of it and look better than ever.
I think he's just gonna look phenomenal, like he's already playing so good on 200 ping. It's not a reason for him to go down.
One fight on the first map to adjust, and then he'll be phenomenal again.
I think he's overall like the best. Honestly.
Okay. Predictions for the post-season of this season. We'll start with the APAC playoffs. The first game is London versus Chengdu. I think London win this. I'm joking, Chengdu win it. Chengdu have Amon carry. But then I'm going against my team.
Late jump.
This is difficult. Both teams are excellent at ball comps. We've seen that. These are two of the best teams with Hammond that use Hammond. I think it will really depend on which main tank plays for London. If Jihoon plays, I think London win 3-2. If JMac plays, then I think Chengdu win 3-2.
Honestly, I have really no faith in London coaches. I don't know why they keep playing JMac. I don't know if it's because they want to see improvement, but it's clearly not. He's clearly not improving fast enough.
Yeah, he's not improving fast enough. That's the only thing. He's improving, but
not fast enough.
So that would
3-2.
Okay. I think because it'll likely be a hog and ball meta, I think they're gonna play Jihoon Preston. Like, London will thrive in a meta where hog is good and ball is a good complement to hog, because they've got one of the best hog players in Preston, and they've got the Korean Ameng in Jihoon. So that would leave. That would then lead into New York, Hangzhou, London, and Seoul being in the final play-in games. I think New York will pick London, so I feel like London will play Jihoon, and Hangzhou will be left with Seoul. I think New York and Hangzhou win. New York win 3-1, and Hangzhou win 3-0. either way, I think New York and Hangzhou qualify regardless of who wins out of London and Chengdu. Do you agree?
That
I
what?
think New York and Hangzhou qualify for the APAC playoffs regardless of who wins between London and Chengdu.
For the playoffs in round 3.
Yeah, to get into the actual APAC playoffs instead of the play-ins.
I think New York. Yeah.
That would leave Hangzhou up against Shanghai and Guangzhou up against New York. I think Shanghai and New York win, and then Guangzhou beat Hangzhou in the losers round one.
Wait. You think Shanghai's gonna lose to New
No,
York?
Shanghai will be playing Hangzhou.
Okay, you're making it
Okay,
very confusing
so
here.
it would be Shanghai versus Hangzhou and Guangzhou versus New York. I think Shanghai and New York win their games and progress to the winners final. And then Guangzhou defeat Hangzhou in the losers round one. And then Shanghai qualify, beating New York and sending New York to losers final. Where New York
Mm.
beat Guangzhou by one map, making Shanghai and New York
I
the
agree.
qualifiers from APAC.
I agree. I agree on everything, but the first map change is gonna win over
I
London.
think it's going to be a very close game regardless. And it really
Yeah,
depends
it
on
is, but
if on what main tank London play.
I can't trust London.
Yeah, agreed.
They
Okay.
clearly haven't learned from the past. Chengdu is gonna have to win 3-2,
Okay.
I'd say
Next
3-1
up,
maybe.
we've got the NA bracket. I think Houston beat Boston 3-0, and
Yep.
Vancouver beat Washington 3-2. Well, no, I
I
disagree.
think
I
3-1.
think Washington will win 3-2 thanks to Decay.
I think 3-1 to Washington.
I think 3-1 to Washington. 3-2 to
Just
Washington.
because Jano is better. Just because they have a better DPS line and a tank
I
line.
wouldn't say tank line. I think
Uh,
Vancouver have the overall better tank line, but
mm,
and that's only because Shredlock is so much better than Wall. I do think Janu is better than KSA, but it is very close. I think it's really the support in the DPS that'll make the difference here.
I think
Yeah,
Washington will win
I think Washington
3-1,
win.
3-2 maybe.
I think
Yeah.
Washington win 3-2. That would Gladiators would likely take Washington.
I think they will pick Houston.
Half. Atlanta would probably pick Toronto, and Dallas would be left with Houston. You've got to respect the
I think
battle spec
Gladiators.
for Texas.
I don't know. I think Gladiators gonna pick
Just don't
Houston
pick Washington.
because I think because you can't really look at Houston versus Boston to see which team is better. It's obviously gonna be Houston, but you can't really see how hard they're fighting. I definitely think that the Gladiators gonna come into this and prepare to slaughter Hydration because he's the main tank, and they're gonna know that that's the weakness of
Um,
Houston's uh the tank
I
line that's
think
the weakness.
I think
I don't think
I
they
think
want to
a lot can
challenge
respect
Washington again.
the battle for Texas. Um,
I
I
don't
think
think
a lot.
so.
So
Gladiators
I
will get first
think
pick, so
Gladiators will. Okay, for me, Gladiators are a shoe-in to qualify, regardless of who they play. I think even if they go up against Washington, who they have lost to in the past, they will qualify. And then
I don't know. I think they will pick Houston. That's all I'm saying.
Atlanta would probably pick Toronto, I think, because I think they'll view
Yep.
Toronto as the lesser team than Houston. And then I think Toronto will qualify over Atlanta. And then finally Dallas versus Houston is my final prediction. And as of this is difficult because Jansu, Milton, Doha have been looking excellent. Odegaard's been looking good. The Disports have been looking terrible. Whereas for Houston, hydration has been looking solid. Neko, Dante, Lincia, Jackson, and Rappel have all been looking excellent. I'm going to be honest, I've got to go with Houston here. I think it's going to be Gladiators, Toronto, and Houston qualifying out of the play-ins.
I mean, mine looks a little bit different. Mine's just the same, but it's Gladiator versus Houston and then Dallas versus Washington. And if I'm right, then Washington is gonna go to the next round, a win over Dallas, and Gladiator's gonna win over Houston, and Atlanta wins over Toronto. In either case.
So that means our NA brackets are going to look slightly different. Okay, so Philly are first, keep their pick first. I think Philly are going to go with, honestly, Washington. No, well, not Washington. I don't think Washington are qualifying. I think Philly are going to go with Toronto. Then San Fran are going to pick Houston. Paris are going to pick the Valiant. And Mayhem are going to be left with the Gladiators. Whose Gladiators just be Valiant. So I think no one wants to. Those are the two teams no one will want to face. Because they have upset potential.
I think San Francisco will pick Gladiators.
Ooh. Is that for the California
because they have done it. They have done it in the past, and I think they will do it again. And if they don't pick it, then Florida is gonna pick it.
I think
Definitely. I don't agree with Valiant versus Paris because last time that was pretty close. I honestly think Valiant versus.
I don't think anyone is going to want to pick Valiant or Gladiators, but Paris are going to pick Valiant based on the fact that Gladiators just beat Valiant. So I think Philly are going to win, Florida are going to win, San Fran are going to win, and Paris are going to win. And the top 4 seeds are all going into semis. And then
That's true.
So that would be, and that would be Toronto versus, who did I say Philly? Not Philly, for sure. It would be Toronto versus Houston, and then the battle for LA. So we'll see. Okay, so I think Houston. Yeah,
What?
If my bracket could play out, it'll be a battle for LA and Houston versus Toronto.
Oh yeah, because it's loser brackets as well.
Okay, and then I think out of those, Houston and the Valiant will go through.
Nope.
Who do you think wins out of Houston and Toronto?
I think it's gonna be the new patch, right?
It's either going to be the Hog patch or the patch afterward.
Yeah, it's Hog patch. I think
By the
they
way,
said it.
Hog's being played.
I actually think, because I like to make bets. I like to make daring bets. Actually, no. I think Houston's gonna win, but Gladiator's gonna win over Valiant again.
Honestly, both those games could go either way.
Yeah, I could see both of them winning because both of them knows that this is a really important game.
Wait, are we just going to use my bracket then? Even though you predicted slightly differently for the who got through. Are we just going to use my bracket?
We can use your
And then
back.
for the semi-finals, it will be Philly versus Florida and San Fran versus Paris. I think Philly beat Florida and Paris beat San Fran.
Yep.
Okay. And then for losers, that will be Florida versus Houston. right? Yeah, Florida versus Houston, and San Fran versus, for me, the Gladiators. No, not the Gladiators, Valiant. And then I think between those, I think it will be. I think Houston upset Florida here. They did it in, what was it? Was it the Summer Showdown that upset Florida? I think they're going to do it again. I think Houston upset Florida, and San Fran beat out the Valiant, and then San Fran just absolutely demolished Houston. Like, it would be completely unfair, but it would happen. Then in the finals, I think Philly get their revenge. I think Philly finally get that number one that they've been looking for so long. And then
You think they win?
Win the NA bracket over Paris.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And then that'll be a Paris
definitely.
versus Shock losers final. That would be so intense. This is difficult. So I predicted Paris over Shock before.
Paris
I
versus
think
Shock.
Shock wins. I think Shock win, but it goes the distance.
I could see this go either way. I mean, Paris has been looking a little bit meh, but so has San Francisco. I think it just depends on which team looks better in
Yeah.
this. I don't really know. It could go. I'm just gonna switch it up and say Paris, just because.
I can see Paris winning this. This is going to be the game to watch, though, if Philly and Paris play each other. Not Philly, if San Fran and Paris.
Match.
Right, so yeah, that's our NA bracket and our APAC bracket. We will predict the bracket of the final four on October the 1st, I think it would be.